One impeachment initiated by the House of Representatives and now tossed to the Senate for trial. Then another one before the Bureau of Internal Revenue for some tax malfeasance or whatever. I'm just saying that is my, what you call this, concern. I'm not questioning anything, but my concern.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Majority Floor Leader.
thank you, Mr. President. As much as it was manifested earlier that the continuance of the impeachment, the cross-examination would be next week, may I manifest some other matters, Mr. President? We would like to make of record that yesterday, January 25, 2012, the prosecution filed a manifestation stating that the prosecution is now temporarily discharging from appearing before this honorable tribunal until further notice. The following: Robert Guillermo, Register of Deeds, Pasay City; Romoles D. Penilla, Assistant City Assessor, Makati; Raymond G. Ramos, Register of Deeds, Parañaque City; Fernando M. Pandino, City Assessor, Pasay City; Marco Antonio B. Abad, OIC, City Assessor, Parañaque City; Roberto S. Villaluz, OIC, City Assessor, Taguig City; Jaime Ike Bayani, President and CEO, John Hay Management Corporation; Sonica O. Angeles, Vice President, Staff Officer 4, Office of the Vice President; and Jose D. Castro, City Assessor, Quezon City. Well, you manifest the...
Noted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday also, January 25, 2012, Council of Chief Justice Renato Corona filed an opposition to the January 25, 2012 request of the prosecution for the court to issue subpoena ad testificandum and subpoena duces tecum requiring certain officers of various banks to testify and to bring documents in relation to the purported bank accounts of Chief Justice Corona and or his wife, Cristina R. Corona. This morning, the prosecution filed a motion to withdraw its earlier request for the issuance of subpoena to certain officers of the Bank of the Philippine Islands, Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, Philippine National Bank, Land Bank of the Philippines, and the Bank of the Philippine Islands Family Savings Bank, so as not to saddle this honorable court. And while waiting for the issuance of the formal resolution of this honorable court regarding the clarifications to its 25 January 2012 ruling. In the said motion, the prosecution praised that the request for subpoena ad testificandum and subpoena duces tecum dated 25 January 2012 be withdrawn with reservation to the right of the prosecution to file the appropriate request for specific bank accounts of Renato C. Corona and Cristina R. Corona at the appropriate time. I move, Mr. President, that the presiding officer rule on the motion.
If I recall correctly, there was a, I think, a motion of the prosecution to withdraw that request for subpoena against the banks.
Yes, yes, we filed for the information, Mr. President, we filed
An ex parte
manifestation. Yes, I think it was filed this morning.
Yeah, we received it.
To
And
withdraw.
that's why I'm making that statement that the request for subpoena against the banks had been withdrawn.
Yes.
Am I correct in this?
Yes, you're correct,
Now,
Mr. President.
May I request, the chair rather now request the parties that when they request for a subpoena to be issued by this court, you must make your request for subpoena duces tecum with respect to document in such a manner that there is specificity of the documents to be requested, because I noticed that the prosecution has requested this court to issue a subpoena against certain real estate developers, especially developers of buildings like condominiums, requiring the production of all kinds of records of involved in the development, which is a backshot manner of requesting subpoena. And I'm not saying that you are doing it intentionally, but the impression is that you are actually fishing for evidence, which is not proper. So, otherwise, if I'll grant the subpoena, then I will be compelling the developers to bring even the engineering plans, the architectural plans, the sewage plans, and all other documents involving the construction of the building, which are not relevant in this proceeding. So I would suggest that in order not to intrude into the privacy of people who are not involved in these proceedings, that you specify with particularity the documents that you want this court to be subpoenaed.
We will comply, Mr. President.
Is there anything else, Majority Floor Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, just two small items. We are in receipt of a notice of appearance filed by several private prosecutors on January 25, 2012, where as counsel for complainants in relation to Article 1, subject to the supervision and control of the public prosecutors. The names and signatures of the counsel are indicated in the set notice, Mr. President.
Can you
Just to manifest.
read the notice?
Yes. Yes, we in receipt of the notice, Mr. President.
Can
We
you
will
read
just
the
take note.
notice?
Thank you. One final matter, Mr. President. May we recognize Senator Gregorio Nasan for a manifestation.
Gentleman from Bicol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with the indulgence of the court, I would just like to raise two issues. One, administrative and procedural. The other, a matter of principle as it relates to the procedures. Mr. President, I would like to move for the court to direct the court spokesperson to confer with the spokespersons of both the prosecution and the defense, so that if it is not yet being done, they may moderate their public pronouncements and statements. Mr. President, I proceed from the issue raised by Senator Arroyo about the premature and unwarranted disclosure of what constitutes the merits of the case, which to my mind remains unresolved and unverified. I am not suggesting a gag rule. I still subscribe to the liberal application of the rules. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to my mind, I believe that the trial outside the courtroom is proceeding faster than the trial inside the courtroom. And as we speak, I think it should be the other way around, because as we speak, verdicts are being rendered in the hearts and minds of our people. The second issue, Mr. President, is related to an issue we raised when we resumed last Tuesday, to which both the prosecution and the defense agreed. The principle in the rule in our Constitution that presumes innocence. Mr. President, I believe this is a continuing presumption until the verdict is rendered. In fact, I would expand this principle. What about the presumption of honor, of a good family name? Sa tingin ko po, Ginoong Pangulo, hindi naman tama. I don't think it was the intention of the law or the spirit of the law na payagan tayong sirain yung pangalan ng isa't isa. What about our children and grandchildren? What about their future? So, Mr. President, I submit.
Yeah. Before we proceed, I would like to state that the chair approves and grants the motion of the prosecution to withdraw the request for subpoena duces tecum against the banks filed by them. previously. So ordered. Now, there is this request by certain private lawyers to appear for the prosecution. Are they authorized to represent the prosecution, or are they appearing here in their private capacities to participate in the proceeding, and are they asking the leave of this court?
I signed that request, Your Honor,
So it is
as a
upon,
part of the House panel of prosecution,
it's
under our
upon-
direct control and
it is
supervision.
upon the behest of the panel of prosecutors, House prosecutors, that this request is requested.
And it is specific that they will act as private prosecutors for a particular article in the impeachment
So
complaint.
you want these people to assist you?
Yes,
All
Mr.
right.
President.
Granted.
There's, we heard earlier that the defense reserved the right to continue